Welcome to the Advocates Corner. I'm your host, Clark Pena. Murders in the Bronx have skyrocketed in 2018, nearly doubling compared to the same period last year, according to newly released crime statistics from the NYPD. We can analyze statistics. Welcome back. I'm Clark Pena, and this is your Advocates Corner. Someone that has walked the walk. We welcome Jason Rodriguez, an amazing story of his life. Can we learn from it? Mr. Rodriguez, how are you?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I know you have a great bio. I don't want to take much of your time by asking questions. Tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to my story. Well, my name is Jason Rodriguez. I was born in Spanish Harlem and raised in the Bronx. And I myself was a problem. Now growing, and I was part of the problem. So I was charged. I was arrested, charged, and sentenced as an adult at the age of 16. My sentence was 8 1/3 to 25, and I ended up serving 3/3 of that bid. So I ended up doing 16 years and 8 months, wow, which I missed 5 parole hearings. I went to 5 parole hearings and I was denied 5 times. But while in there, I didn't realize, I had to use prison as a gestation, that eventually they were going to let me go because I didn't have life. So that was my concept of taking prison. I didn't serve the time because in the streets the motto is don't let the time serve you, you serve the time. What I did was the opposite. I let the time serve me, and everything that was coming to me was a benefit to me. So I didn't serve the time, because if I would have served the time, I probably 9 out of 10 would have made bad decisions and caught up in the mentality of the streets and in prison. So what I did, I let time serve me, and by time serving me, I self-educated myself. I did a lot of reading, and it allowed me to do a lot of introspection. But in the process, I lost both of my parents. So the Bible says a motherless child sees a rough life. So what I did, I had to take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that were there. So speeding it right up and going right along, I went to 5 parole hearings. When Pataki won governorship, they were hard on violent offenders. So every parole hearing that I went to, I was denied parole. And then after that, I was, released. Both of my parents were deceased. I'm an only child, and my aunt took me in. So upon my release, to be honest, I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew what I was going to do verbally, but physically, and far as coming out to the reality, you don't know what you're going to do. So I went into a program, and 9 months later, upon my release, I was asked to audition for a movie. Mind you, I didn't know anything of it. Right. I was a neophyte. I'm not going to say I thought it was going to be a one-hit wonder. Right. And I went and auditioned, and the director asked me, I'm casting for another role, would you do it? And in that process, that's how I got into acting. I auditioned and I was casted for the role. And from there, basically that opened up a door. But let me start with this. He who prescribes the diameter of your thinking will control the circumference of your activities. So we have to watch what source we're reading from, where we're learning from, even from people. Because sometimes it can take effect to us of what we're intaking and what we're listening to. Right. So, that part was that played a big step in my life too, being universal, reading everything, learning different cultures, being understanding people. Yes, and coming to people as people and coming to people where they are. So, I learned different cultures. Not only that, we have to learn. I learned sign language to be able to relate to everybody, because I knew it was going to be a big task upon my release. So while I was incarcerated, like I said, I was letting prison serve me and it's accepting all them programs. First, of course, I was aggressive and arrogant in the beginning, but I had to humble myself and submit and learn from everything and everyone and circumstances. So.
Well, listen, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
You turned your life around. And the question that we had asked, and you've walked the walk, so you can really answer this question. Has gang violence, these young gangbangers, is that becoming the norm in New York City? And if so, what can we do to change that?
Well, first we got to stop using the word gangbangers. These are your youths that are in street organizations. If we take away, because remember, words, the etymology of words means a lot. So we always, first of all, they don't want to be titled as gangbangers because they don't see themselves as gangbanging. Some of them are born into this. Some of them are forced into this because their mothers and fathers have been involved in street organizations. So we need to take away the
That
language,
title.
the title, because we're offending some of the youth, because you have a lot of brothers and sisters that are very wise and they're very bright. So we don't look at you as a gangbanger. We want to look at you as a youth making the wrong decisions. And it's all about decision making.
You know what, Jason? I'm going to make a note of that.
Yeah, because we're always stigmatizing people.
No, you're correct.
This one's a gangbanger. This one's this one is that. Maybe if we change the language and look at the youth and understand where they're coming from by finding brothers that have been in that position or in that situation. So, of course, it's prevalent now because right now there's no men in the street leading as examples. First of all, we need examples. We have to learn how to appreciate the pastors, the business people in the communities, the elders in the community. First of all, we have to learn that. We have to go back into that. We have to go back when we used to sit on the street corners and talk to the old timers. And despite whatever they were involved in, they were still giving us some type of wisdom because we looked up to them. They were called hustlers back then. Now you'll say drug dealer. That's what we have to be real careful with words.
With the words itself.
Exactly, because they're the OGs.
Absolutely.
And the OG is definitely used to this day. And it's the OGs that are some of them, they need to be retaught.
Right. When you touch up on that, there is money that's been made available by our governor to address this issue of youth that are making the wrong decisions.
Right.
18 million. 8 million of those dollars have gone to Roberto Clemente State Park. Check. This is your check right here. How are you going to spend it?
Well, first you have to set up sectors. You have to set up sectors in areas where there's problems. Because if we do that, we'll be able to use the money in them problems, in them section areas, with them problem areas, and show over a period of 12 months and show what's been done, what we have been doing with the violence, and show. But first we got to create sectors in areas in NYCHA where there's problems. So, of course, look at the statistics. Let's find out where each area has most of the problems at, and then allocate the money, not just to one place, but to all them places, and be able to give services to the youth and the seniors, because we're leaving them out. The seniors, if we give them an area to put the seniors in, to be able to advocate and say how they made it to the youth that's going through the problems in the streets, then maybe we can work somewhere. So, you can't just say, what are you going to do? We have to have a plan, and the plan is not just one area. The plan is just not 183rd Street. The plan is 183rd Street, 165th Street, 149th Street. There's different areas. So that funding, you have to create pilot programs first and give us a chance.
It's like the police department. Police department, they work in sectors as well.
Exactly. You have the 42nd precinct, you have the 48th precinct, you have the 43rd precinct, and each precinct has a sector, and they all come with stats and everything that has been happening in them neighborhoods.
You would set it up that way? You would have a sector?
I would set up pilot programs first in problematic areas.
And address.
And then address them areas, and then tell us, what, they let us work for 12 months and show you where have we progressed from 2018 to 2019. So you have to set up pilot programs first, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
There may be an area that we set up we may affect. There may be another area that might not be as effective. But we need the chance first to, target all those areas, and then find out, what's the statistics throughout 12-month period.
Evaluate the work.
Exactly. We have to analyze the area, then we have to evaluate the area, and then work on self-correcting the problems in that area.
Absolutely. There's issues, and not only in the Bronx. We're seeing the uptick in Brooklyn and other parts of the city. Do you involve the youth in addressing the issue, or do you bring the OGs to be leading?
That's a very good question, because you have some youth that are that are wise, and we're underestimating the youth. We have young men and women that can run 500 companies if they only knew the same method that they're using to do illegal activities is the same thing in a legitimate business. Because in legitimate business, what do? The wholesalers give you the product. And then if it doesn't sell, let's give a prime example, it's potato chips. Potato chips, they allocate the store all the potato chips. Whatever doesn't sell, they take back. Whatever sells, they keep. It's the same thing. We have to teach the youth how to use that same concept. and teach them that those logistics of what you're doing, to go get illegal things and every consignment, let's use that word because everybody knows what the word consignment is, and use and teach them and show them that what you're doing illegally is the same method legally.
Absolutely.
But you just have to give yourself a shot and believe in yourself. We have to teach them how to believe in themselves.
And you're not alone. You have a team that are ready, willing, and able to hit the streets.
Exactly, because there's no iron team. If everyone does a little bit, nobody has to do a lot. But we need everybody involved. We need the elders and the seniors in the community. We need the youth. We need the NYPD, even the fire department, even the ambulance. We need programs everywhere.
I think churches also, there's so many churches.
Listen, right now,
really
brother, I wanted to use a quote. You know, right now the church is definitely a big issue, because when you look at Junior's death, let's use that for an example, because that just recently happened. Junior's death opens the doors for people in different denominations and colors to all work together. Okay. Let's not be divided by labels, but let's be united by principles. And that's what we have to get out of labels. Sometimes a label can make you deal, well, I don't want to deal with that person just based on that label, and we'll have a bias. Let's not be divided by labels. Let's be united by principles.
Have you, in your years of going through trials and tribulations, and what can you tell our youth today? You have a group of kids that are young people that are in front of you. What would you tell them?
You know, first of all, I would give them my experience and share with them probably a little bit more in depth. I would share more in depth with my life, because they only relate to, you know, you can't hear the truth, you have to feel it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you come into the youth, they have to feel it. They see transparency right off the muscle. This is a young Joshua nation, just like Joshua in the Bible. They're coming to break down the walls of Jericho. They're warriors. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to come to them as them, and really you have to listen to the music. Because if you hear Chris Brown talk about he's feeling like Moses and he wants to part the Red Sea, but using it in a derogatory sense, maybe you need to tell him where Chris Brown really got that from and give him that same concept and show him that lineage of why. You know, it's in the music.
Absolutely.
It's in the music. Old people, I want to hear that hip hop stuff. You have to listen to hip hop. Right. Because you need to know why you bad and bougie.
Right.
If you're not talking to the youth and letting them know why you bad and bougie and understand why they're using that concept and where the word bougie comes from, they probably wouldn't say that why they bad and bougie.
Isn't it amazing, Jason, that we had Jamel before you in a previous segment, and we have you, and the solution is here. The solution is right here. We in 28 minutes, we have evaluated. We have something in place that can take place tomorrow if you have to.
Yes.
And
practical application, brother. And for the youth, it's going to be OJT.
Absolutely.
On the job training.
Absolutely. Before you go, Jason, once again, congratulations. I look forward to seeing you again and working in the field. This is your camera. Talk to our youth.
Thank you. Listen, brothers and sisters. First of all, we need to really listen to our parents and listen to their struggles and understand why they tell us what they tell us, and really put yourself in their shoes, because if you look at it, you're still going home to mommy and daddy, or just mommy or daddy or even grandma. We have to really sit down and listen to what they've been through to tie it into what we're going through, because where there's pain, there's growth. We know we like to work out. When you're in the gym, you work out. The next day you have pain, but where there's pain, there's growth. And then you can wear that wife beater in the summer and come out looking like Johnny Diesel, because everybody wants to look good. So you have to understand, where there's pain and long suffering, it builds character for what God intends you to be. But first of all, you got to find out and have to find out who you are and why you're here, and use your blessings, whether it's in the hood, whether you 5-star or whatever you is, and understand that you can turn that negative into a positive and realize that the impact will be much greater.
Well, Jason, thank you for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me, brother.
You heard him?
Thank you for having me.
The solution, folks, we just spoke about it. They're here. If you want to reach us, you can reach theadvocatescorner@gmail.com. And we hope that we're going to do great things as we move toward this epidemic of crime in our city. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and thank your family for spending time with us today.
Yes, sir.
Be safe, be well, and take care of each other. I'm Clark Pena for the Advocates Corner. Hasta la próxima.